ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports television, presents Speed World.
This is Riverside, California. 2 6/10 miles of asphalt at the edge of the desert. It has drawn the fastest drivers and machines in the world for the richest race in the world, the Riverside Grand Prix.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. Welcome to the Glory Days, an opportunity for ESPN race fans to recall the way things used to be. Now, in this edition, we're going to relive the 1963 Riverside Grand Prix. It's typical of the long and glorious history of that event. It brought together the top drivers from Formula One, endurance prototype, IndyCar, and sports car racing. A talent-laden field devastated the track record and then lined up in front of 85,000 people. It was the largest crowd in North American road racing history. Here with the pre-race story is your narrator, Les Kiter.
The Los Angeles Times Grand Prix for sports cars at Riverside comes at the close of the racing season. For $35,000 in purse money, it draws the top drivers of the world, the very best at their trade. 1963 World Champion, Scotland's Jimmy Clark. United States Road Racing Champion, Bob Holbert. Defending Riverside Champion, Roger Penske. 1962 World Champion, Graham Hill. Second in the international title race, Richie Ginther. Dan Gurney, national and international star. Sebring winner and third internationally, John Surtees. United States Automobile Club champion, A.J. Foyt. Two-time Indianapolis winner, Roger Ward. Mexico's Pedro Rodriguez. Multiple U.S. title holder, Augie Paps. Chaparral builder, Jim Hall. Since the season started at Sebring, March of this year, these men have driven the equivalent of halfway around the world at speeds up to 160 miles per hour. They've challenged each other from Watkins Glen to Le Mans, from Sebring to Monza, from Elkhart Lake to Nürburgring. Some have been crowned champions. For all, victories and disappointments, Roger Penske.
I feel that we've had a good season. I've had some heartbreaks at a few of the races at Elkhart, but I feel the one we're really pointing for is out here.
A.J. Foyt.
It's been probably one of the best years I've ever had. I've had the last 2 or 3 years, it's been real great. And this year here seems like it's been a real good one. I don't see I could have too many years better than this year.
Pedro Rodriguez.
Very good. Won several races in the States and in Europe. And now I am racing here after 3 years I haven't been here.
Jim Hall.
I've had a pretty successful year. I've been in Europe most of the year, running Formula One races over there for British Racing Partnership. And finished a lot of races and stand about 10th in World Championship standings now. So I feel like I've had a pretty successful year.
Roger Ward.
Well, actually, I've had a very good year. I've won 3 national championship races and several other lesser events, finishing 4th at Indianapolis, which has given me a pretty good year financially and actually not too bad otherwise.
Richie Ginther.
Well, looking back on my Formula One season, it's been very good. It's not over yet, though. There's still 2 more races to go. But I've been on the right side of luck this year as compared to last, believe me.
Bob Holbert.
Very good. I've had good success all year and about 3 different cars now. So we started out with a Porsche and then the Cobra, and now we're into the Cooper Cobra, which is a car with a lot of possibilities. It's brand new out here, and we're still got our sorting out to do. So we're real pleased.
Dan Gurney.
Well, I learned a lot. I did a lot of new things to me, and I think I'm hoping for a better year next year. It's been disappointing in a way, and yet I've had a chance at some real terrific races, some new things like Indianapolis with the Lotus Fords, and Milwaukee and Trenton, plus the Grand Prix circuit, I've had a car that was capable of winning. We had a little bit of trouble finishing. I think it's been a very worthwhile year, although I've been disappointed now and then.
Augie Pabst.
Well, I've been lucky in 2 so far this year. I won Denver and then the Road America 500. But we've run about 10 others that we haven't finished in. So I don't know, it's about half.
Jimmy Clark.
Well, we've had a lot of luck. Things have gone pretty well for us one way and another, and I've enjoyed it. It's been good fun.
Fun for Jimmy Clark and his breed begins on Thursday at Riverside with practice. Some of the drivers quickly learn to respect Riverside's tricky turns. This is the shakedown period. Learn the course, sort out the car. All pointing toward Saturday's qualification runs, the race against time. More than 60 cars are here. The fastest 33 will qualify. Texan Jim Hall's brand new Chevy-powered Chaparral, the engine mounted astern for the first time, has been thundering around consistently under 1 minute 35 seconds, thus shattering Roger Penske's 1962 record of 1:35 flat. By Saturday, Hall and his 4.5-liter bomb set a new course record of 1:31.9, or just over 101.84 miles per hour. But the first man to break the magic 100-mile barrier at Riverside was U.S. drivers champ Bob Holbert. Holbert, in Shelby's newest creation, the Cooper Cobra, turned 1:32.7. Shelby has a brace of the Cooper-bodied 4-powered brutes entered. Dave McDonald, a Shelby regular, is at the wheel of the second entry. The former drag champ was 1/10 of a second quicker than Holbert to earn second position on the grid. Local favorite Dan Gurney had to practically build his own ride. The Lotus Ford he'd been promised never arrived from England. Briggs Cunningham turned over a 2-day-old Genie Ford to Gurney, who worked round the clock setting it up. Late Saturday, Gurney turned 1:33.1 in the untested Genie to earn 4th spot on the grid. Defending Riverside King Roger Penske lapped consistently in practice at 1:34 in the Coventry Climax-powered Xerix Special. It broke his record set last year in the same car, but put him 5th on the grid behind the bigger iron. World champion Jimmy Clark, scheduled to drive a 2.7-liter Lotus 19, instead had to qualify number 222, an under 2-liter Lotus 23. His bigger machine suffering engine difficulties. But by the consolation race, a new engine had been installed in number 2, the larger car, and Clark made a bid to qualify it. But the new engine was just not ready, and Clark was forced to join the final qualifiers far down in the under 2-liter number 222 Lotus 23. Pedro Rodriguez in a 4.6-liter Genie Ford earned 6th grid position with a time of 1:34.6. A.J. Foyt grabbed 7th with the Olds-powered Mecom Scarab. The preliminaries are over now. The grid order has been established, and final preparations are all that remain. It's a time for final checks, a time to go over details once more, to plan strategy, to consider the opposition, to figure your chances, to make yourself ready. And unlike most sports where they're confined to the stands, in motor racing, the wives and sweethearts are pit-side with their men. A comely addition to the grease and sweat of the pits. In a minute, the race.
Call your brother. Show me your tattoo. Never. Jason, look out.
There's something out there, something different, something real. It's far from the usual.
Introducing the 3 cheese melt from Taco Bell. Tons of real mozzarella, cheddar, and pepper jack cheese. Melted the way you like it. The 3 cheese melt, just 99 cents. There's so much cheese, you'll be back for more.
There's nothing ordinary about it. Taco Bell.
Hey, get your own.
I get here early to stock up on Texaco Haviland Formula 3 motor oil because it gives my engine complete protection.
Me too.
Michael Andretti.
Texaco Haviland Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility and fight vaporization. And it's the same oil used by championship racing teams.
Empty.
Tough track, huh?
Take it to the stars.
Get a Dream Team basketball with a 12-quart Haviland Formula 3 or 6-quart Haviland Synthetic purchase.
To win this summer, you can perfect this twist, or this twist. Fans, just look under the red caps for a 1 in 3 chance to score Olympic Games gear, discounts on Olympic Games merchandise at Foot Locker, 20-ounce bottles of Coke, vending machines autographed by Olympians, or Chevrolet Camaros. Either way, you got a twist to score. Play Coca-Cola Red Hot Olympic Summer.
And now the time has come. Helmets, seatbelts, start engines. Wait for the pace lap to begin. How does it look, Roger Penske?
The race is not going to be won in the first 100 miles. It's going to be the fellow that is around running at 175 miles at almost top speed. So we're looking forward to a real good day.
31 of the fastest men and machines in the world paced before the largest road race crowd ever. 82,000 fans. In the front row in a new car. How does it feel, Bob Holbert?
I'm reasonably sure the car will hold together. The engine and gearbox is in good shape. And I don't, as I say, with a new car, well, we just never knew what to expect. But
the last time around at this sedate pace, how will your car hold out, Dan Gurney?
The car is only 2 days old, and we're lucky to get it as sorted out as it is now. It means that it's a darn good car. Finishing is our problem.
A half-dozen record-breaking cars and drivers lead the pack back to the grid. How does it shape up, Jimmy Clark?
Well, I've been amazed. They're going very quick here, and there's a lot of very interesting cars. They're probably all a bit new, some of them, but I think it's going to be quite a race.
Starter Bud Ehrlich commands the field. All that remains is flashing green flag. It's a battle for the lead into the first turn. Hall, McDonald, and Holbert roar ahead 3 abreast. Into the sweeping S-turns. And Jim Hall proves his qualifications for the pole positions as he heads the pack. There's plenty of shuffling further back, and some of the drivers are forced to travel a dirt road when things get a bit tight on turn 3. Hall keeps his lead, and the rest follow him uphill out of the S's and into the tight challenge of turn 6. And as Hall, his snowplow front end keeping the nose down, roars into the serpentine turn 7, he's stretched his lead over the pack. Onto the 6/10 of a mile back straight. Hall's powerful Chevy engine Chaparral shows the way at 150 miles per hour. And has the track to himself as they complete the first lap. Hall and his car live up to their record-breaking qualification and practice times, stretching their lead over the rest of the field. And as Hall negotiates turn 6, his followers have settled into order. McDonald in the Cooper Cobra, Penske in the Zurich Special, Holbert in the 99 Cooper Cobra, and Dan Gurney. And so they roar into turn 7. Hall completely unchallenged, his car performing beautifully. Down the back straight, Hall's screaming chaparral opens the gap even more. Over McDonald, Penske, Holbert, and Gurney. Turn 9, a sweeping bank 70 to 80 mile per hour turn. Hall sweeps through ahead of the Cooper Fords, Penske and Gurney's Genie Ford. And flashes by the pit straight flat out. There's still plenty of shuffling as most of the 31 starters sort themselves out.
Can you figure out the cost of a long-distance call?
Who knows? It's confusing.
Do I look like a mathematician? Well, it's perfectly easy if you have Sprint Cents. 10 cents a minute every evening and all weekend long.
And TCI customers who call now save up to $4.95 a month on a TCI Choice Theaters package for a year.
10 cents a minute?
No super-duper discount fabulous promotion deals? If you want something complicated, see the other guys.
Call now and save up to $4.95 every month for a year on a TCI Choice Theaters package.
If you only watched broadcast channels, this is what TV would be like. But neighborhoods all across America are tuning into dozens of channels thanks to TCI. And soon, TCI will be able to connect you with exciting new technologies. Today, TCI is reaffirming its commitment to quality programming and responsive service. So the next time you turn on the TV, look at the big picture. TCI, it's what you watch.
Welcome back to the glory days, the year 1963. The place, California's famed Riverside Raceway. This late season sports car confrontation carried with it a lineup of the best drivers in the world. Unfortunately, a lot of them didn't last very long. Among the first to suffer problems was Roger Ward, body damage, a reminder of an early race tangle. Next to go, the runaway race leader, Jim Hall. Nobody could touch the chaparral until a short in the electrics started a fire in the engine compartment. Jim had no choice but to stop and put it out and watch disconsolately as his hopes for victory went home on the hook. Front runner attrition continued when Bob Holbert brought his Ford Cobra onto pit road out with a blown head gasket. Now back to Les Kiter.
The race suddenly is wide open. Dave McDonald in the other Cooper Cobra takes over first. Penske vaults into second. Rodriguez in the number 166 Genie Ford is third, followed by Dan Gurney. With the exception of McDonald, the entire front row of starters has been retired for good. The order now, Dave McDonald, Cooper Cobra. Roger Penske, Xerox Special. Pedro Rodriguez, Genie Ford. Dan Gurney, Genie Ford. And new faces appear toward the front. John Surtees, 3-liter Ferrari, and Roy Salvadori in the Cooper Monaco number 14. And Walt Hanskin in the Cunningham Cooper Buick. But apparently Hanskin has problems just as he gets in the running. Cunningham's other entry, the Type 64 Maserati, driven by Dick Thompson, left the race earlier with assorted difficulties, and now Hanskin pulls into the pits to stay. The second Cunningham team car to retire. Augie Paps in the Mecom Team Lotus moves into the first 10. And British star Roy Salvadori has his number 14 Cooper Monaco well in the running, in 6th place and moving. Salvadori passes a limping Dan Gurney in turn 7. John Surtees in the Ferrari he won with at Sebring is running behind Salvadori in 7th place. And Surtees hangs right on Salvadori's tailpipe as they slipstream through turn 6. Dan Gurney's brand new Genie Ford limps into the pits. Gurney, the local favorite, has had car trouble all year on the international circuit and was hopeful of winning this hometown race. But 2 days was just not enough time to get the car ready, and the cooling problems that troubled Gurney throughout the final practice laps have forced him from the race. Dave Ridenauer in the Genie Mark 7 takes the cross-country route off the S's and has to abandon his car with suspension troubles. And for the first time in a big international race, an American car shows its colors. McDonald turns it on. His early average lap times were just over 95 miles per hour. The young Californian is now consistently pushing the 96 mile per hour average as he works hard to lap the field. His his only competition, Roger Penske, is in perfect line as he fights to hold his second-place margin behind McDonald. The 26-year-old Pennsylvanian modified his own design on this car after complaints following his victory here last year over the fact that he retained the one-seat feature of the Cooper Formula One chassis. His wife, Lisa, keeps track of Penske's times as McDonald slowly narrows the margin necessary to lap him and thereby everyone in the field. Farther back, Rodriguez, lapped by Penske and McDonald, is in third. Salvadori stays just ahead of Surtees in fourth.
You and I have a lot in common. We're a lot alike. We're the same, you and me. I look at you, I see myself.
Pay too much for auto supplies and you'll feel like one too. Pep Boys has great prices. Son of a Gun Protectant, $4.99. Touchless one-step car wax, $6.99. And California Magic Duster, $8.99. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price. Tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
They come with one thing in mind. Because after all the practice, all the training, all the pain, they'll put everything on the line right here, right now. The dream of every young athlete in America. The U.S. Olympic Trials. Coverage continues Wednesday with yachting at 7:30 on ESPN2.
Welcome back to the Glory Days, reliving the 1963 Riverside Grand Prix. Now, in this era, Cobra and Chaparral were the American hopes to outshine such legendary European names as Ferrari. The Chaparral didn't have much luck at Riverside, but in the aftermath of that early wave of attrition, Dave McDonald's Cobra had emerged as the car to beat. The question was the staying power. Would the Cobra live to see the checkered flag?
Surtees' Ferrari Spider 250 has been performing well, but not as quick as it did at Sebring when he won top honors. Augie Paps and the Mecom Team Lotus fights back after 2 lengthy pit stops. And Jimmy Clark, now leading in the under 2-liter class, skids in for a gasoline stop. The world champion, a good lap ahead of his closest under 2-liter competitor, figured this as an insurance gas stop and wastes no time regaining the track. As Clark returns, the order now stands: McDonald first. Penske second in the same lap. Rodriguez third, a lap behind. Surtees now in fourth. Salvadori, who's been a steady fourth, has to bring his Cooper Monaco into the pits with cooling problems and relinquishes his position to Surtees. Clark, meantime, has quickly moved past the hangers-on to take over 7th position. 5 laps later, the Flying Scot is 6th. Another 5 laps, and he's 5th in a splendid display of his world champion form. And now the action's back up front again as McDonald begins to seriously press Penske in an effort to lap him. Penske works hard to stay in the same lap with McDonald. No winner here has ever lapped the entire field. But McDonald's making a run at it. And inches steadily up on Penske as they turn the 9th bend. Watch McDonald move. Carroll Shelby indicates his boy's doing fine. Penske's a bit wide going into the S's. McDonald almost gets by on the inside. Only seconds separate them as Penske barely stays ahead going into turn 6. With the longest straight just ahead, McDonald may have his chance. He's done it. With just 7 minutes left in the race, Dave McDonald laps Penske to make it a clean sweep for the first time in Riverside history. young Dave McDonald, who worked his way from dragsters to road racers, roars under starter Bud Ehrlich's checkered flag with a pocket full of records. McDonald charged the Cooper Cobra around at a record average speed of 96.273 miles per hour. Covered the 77 laps in the record time of 2 hours and 4 minutes. His efforts win him the Los Angeles Times Trophy, $14,000, and a kiss from his wife. In a moment, a word with the winner.
Looking for something?
Yeah, that dime from Sprint's long-distance plan.
Having trouble finding it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's because depending on when you call, the Sprint Cents rate isn't always a dime. It could be a quarter or 65 cents on calls to Canada.
Oh.
Try AT&T True Reach Savings. On average, most people can save more than with Sprint Cents when they spend $25 a month on calls in the U.S. Plus, you'll always save more on calls to Canada.
Wow, I found what I'm looking for.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
It's a major breakthrough. Formula 2001 Super Protectant provides the most advanced protection against fading, drying, and cracking. And Formula 2001 has more active shining ingredients than Armor All. But what if your car's surfaces are already faded? See how Formula 2001 restores and protects vinyl, rubber, and leather. With more active shining ingredients than Armor All, Formula 2001 is the Super Protectant. And for 12 months of protective shine, get Finish 2001 car polish.
Well, Dave McDonald's list of records at Riverside was very impressive, but I think 3 words sum it up most effectively. Against a star-studded field of drivers from a variety of racing disciplines, McDonald lapped the field. Let's hear what he has to say about it as we go back to Riverside in the year 1963.
Driver Dave McDonald, designer Carroll Shelby. A splendid victory, a major victory for an American car that gives promise of denting Ferrari's command on the road racing scene. Dave McDonald tells of his day.
Beautiful. The water temperature got hot on the second lap, and I thought the fan belt come off, but I figured no use stopping, and it didn't get any hotter. It ran 2:45. Did you know you were passing Penske to lap him there? Or I couldn't. Got a little confused on my pit signals. They kept holding up 37 and 38, and I didn't know what they meant. I thought that.
Turning 137 and 138.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought that's how many seconds.
No, you were plus. Did you see the pluses?
Yeah, every once in a while. Every once in a while I'd hold them up, but I didn't. 2 people were holding signs, and I couldn't see who the people were. I didn't know they both our crew.
But you're happy about the victory?
No, very happy.
Also very happy, the car's designer, Carroll Shelby.
At no time did the car seem to give any trouble, is that right?
No, we had one car that had the water hose come off early in the race, but this car ran perfectly all the way.
And how did you feel? What was your reaction when Dave snuck up on Roger Penske, last year's winner, and finally got by him to lap him for the final of the race?
I wasn't particularly worried because I knew that he was turning he had slowed way down. He was early on in the race, he was turning 33s, 34s, and he had slowed down to 139 laps, so he wasn't pushing it even then, so I wasn't particularly worried.
Carroll, Dave McDonald has been one of your steady drivers all year round and seems to have performed beautifully for you. How do you feel about his abilities?
Well, I think he has a tremendous amount of ability. Of course, since I've quit racing myself and building cars, I think I get as big a thrill out of taking the young boys that don't have a chance to get in good equipment and putting them in it and seeing them come through in this fashion.
What do we look for next year from Shelby Cobra?
Oh, well, the Cobra will remain the same for next year. The street version of the Cobra, the competition Cobra, will probably remain the same. But in the modified classes and the class such as the Cooper's running in, it's constant development. We'll have our new cars ready in about 3 months, and the thing is, you never finish. You never finish development. It's constant. You change something every week, so there's really nothing to say you look forward to because you have to change the design probably every 3 or 4 months anyway.
But you're looking forward to seeing Ferrari again, I imagine.
Looking for him pretty soon.
Well, that look of good-natured determination concealed a passion. How else can we describe Carroll Shelby's pursuit of Ferrari? And he didn't quit until he'd won Le Mans and claimed the world championship. Granted, success didn't last in a world of fast-changing priorities for American manufacturers. But thanks to Carroll, there was that one moment of U.S. supremacy in world sports car racing. I'm Dave Despain. Join us next time for another edition of the Glory Days.